Chapter 4, Confessions. Confessions? Like, confessions? Nora, are we getting them confessions? I was haggard by Monday morning. I had told William that I'd nap to make staying awake at night easier. The fact was that even napping was difficult. Every single time I started to drift off, I jolted awake again automatically. That feeling of falling into sleep was just so terrifying, but sleep deprivation was definitely not agreeing with me. Mom thought I was getting sick. Spencer hadn't said a word to me since helping me back inside that night. That was making me nervous. One good thing was that I'd managed to tell Allie what happened through text Sunday evening. Oh, relief. Of course, that resulted in a frantic phone call with me explaining everything to her in hushed tones in my closet. Girl, this is why I did... Oh, man. Still, though, it was easier to deal with than her freaking out in person. And I was glad I'd told her. We said we'd talk more in the morning, and she also promised she'd work out what to tell Guess and Velos about Spencer, something I was really grateful for. I was still feeling a little uneasy about that part.
Have you slept at all?
Not really.
I can understand. That sleepwalking thing is pretty scary.
It's not just that I'm worried about that part. Every time I start falling asleep, it makes me remember that feeling of being, I don't know, pushed out of my body and swallowed up by darkness. I just instinctively wake myself up.
It sounds like it was terrifying.
Putting it lightly.
I was thinking about it, and I wonder if that thing was trying to possess you or something. I mean, I could be totally off, but I guess that's what I thought of.
You know, that is fair. It's not trying to eat my soul so much as possessing me, which is hard when there's already, like, 2 souls in this body. Oh, great. That's what I need. Spencer having a reason to call in an exorcist. Ugh. Regardless of what it was doing, I still don't understand what pulled me back like that.
Maybe it was Spencer.
And exactly how would he go about rescuing me from whatever that was?
Well, you guys are twins. Maybe...
You think he saved me with our mystical twin connection?
Could be.
Yeah, I'm sure that would thrill his little heart.
It would. I mean, he did make the choice to help you back to the house, so regardless of how much he grumps, he clearly still cares. Look, here's what I think. I can understand your hesitance to give Guess and Velos the full story. I know that you don't want to deal with a major fuss over some unexplained behavior, and you don't want to drag Spencer in and everything. I think that it'll be fine no matter what you tell them. I trust them both. But I understand you need more time to get to know them. So why don't we just say you were out for a walk? That way we can tell them about the attack without getting into any personal issues of yours. At least for now.
Think they'll buy it?
Pfft. They're always willing to buy an excuse that makes one of us look like we made a stupid choice.
Charming. And you want me to trust these people?
I hope you know they're going to lecture you about it. A lot. Even more if and when they find out the truth.
I can handle lectures better than complete strangers prying into my life.
Any prying would be out of concern.
I get it. I've dealt with people prying out of concern before. In the end, it doesn't matter if they pry out of concern, curiosity, or anything else. The result is the same.
This isn't the same. It wouldn't be like it was back then. Fine, fine, I get it.
Thank you for helping with this.
You don't have to look that relieved. I'm your friend before I'm their intern.
I'm glad to hear that.
And on the topic of the sleepwalking, I think I know who William had in mind when he said he knew someone that might be able to help. It's probably Shelley. And, well, she's the only person I can think of, too. So I kind of reached out to her this morning, asked her opinion without giving her any major details. It sounds like she has some ideas. And look, I was thinking, we haven't really had much chance to hang out since you got back. I mean, really hang out. Just you and me. I'm going to have some free time on Saturday. I was thinking maybe I could come over for a bit.
Yes, I would really like that. I'm curious about the request, though. Request? It's either this. Request? And that gave me the exact opening I was hoping for. There is something I was wondering.
What's that?
Well, it's a little awkward asking it, but is it possible for you to teach me, I don't know, self-defense? Magic? Defense magic? Okay, I was wondering if that's where you were going. That's probably a great thing for you to learn because I think we're gonna need that. Gah, I feel so weird asking about this. Considering Mr. Creepy Smoke Guy and the spooky thing that nearly killed me, I thought it might be a nice thing to have in my pocket.
Fair enough, but...
What is it?
I'll teach you some basic stuff. I mean, given that you're Fae, you'll probably have a knack for it anyway. But you have to promise me something.
What's that?
Last resort. Only. First of all, we're going to find a way to keep you in your room. But should anything happen, I want you to promise you'll try to get away. Try to avoid it in the first place. And only stand your ground if there's no other option.
Pfft, that isn't even a question. I don't have any weird scars or birthmarks denoting I'm the chosen one, so I'm not going to stand my ground. I just want something to fall back on if I have to. Might help me sleep better at night.
Okay, then we can work on that this weekend. How's that?
Sounds like a plan. This felt better. Moving forward, having a plan. I liked it better than sitting around cowering in my blankets and fretting over everything. Whether I liked it or not, this was my life now, so all I could do was figure out how to survive in it. When we arrived at school, we both headed up to the club. Allie had already told the office she'd be a little late. Hello, Shelley. Once there, we found William sitting on the sofa. In one of the wingback chairs was Shelley. I'd seen her in the library a few times, but didn't really know much beyond her name. And that she was a witch, like Allie. She looked up and smiled at us when we entered. I guess she was waiting for us. Worry instantly flashed on William's face when he saw me.
Hey, Shelley! Thanks for stopping by so early.
I would have been here or in the library anyway, so it's alright.
Nora, I don't know if you two have officially met, but this is Shelley.
Hi there. It's nice to finally have a proper introduction.
It's nice to meet you.
Nora. I gave him a tired smile.
You haven't been sleeping at all, have you?
I shot Allie a sheepish look. Well, it was kind of harder than I anticipated.
Anyway, hopefully we can fix that if we remove one of the major concerns.
I think I can help. I didn't have a whole lot of time to put things together, but I came up with something.
Like I mentioned before, Shelley's a witch too. But unlike me, she's known about it her whole life, so she has a lot more experience. And she specializes in potions and things like that.
Potions? Okay. Not sure how that was going to help, but I was definitely open to ideas.
I'm no expert at this specific kind of thing, but I did have an idea about how to keep you confined at night. It just took a little research to put it together.
Ugh. I really want to stay for this, but I need to run. I'm sorry.
It's fine, it's fine. Go file away all the things. We can handle it.
Okay, let me know how it goes.
She made a hasty retreat, leaving me with Shelley and William. Shelley reached into her satchel and pulled something out, handing it over to me. It was a small black pouch with a drawstring closure. Curious, I opened it and dumped 2 glass bottles into my lap. What are these?
The one without the ribbon has some traditional fairy banes in them. St. John's wort mainly. They're sometimes used to keep fairies out of places. So I thought if you sprinkled it in your door, it might help keep you in.
Okay. Let's read about our fairy bane again. Fairies, for all that they can be terrifying, can be pretty easily thwarted by the simplest of things sometimes. They have such a powerful aversion to some plants and objects, fairy banes, that these things can be used as effective protections and even barriers to keep fairies out. A fairy bane can be as complicated as magic circles formed of salt and as innocuous as keeping a crust of dry bread in your pocket. There you go. Then if you're hungry, hey. St. John's wort. I'm allergic to that. I stopped. Wait. Allergic? I mean, I'd always thought it was an allergy. We'd had a ton of St. John's wort growing wild out in the woods behind our old house. I couldn't remember it so much when I was really little, but at some point I realized it burned me if I touched it. It never left welts, but touching it felt a bit like touching a stinging nettle. Is that really an allergy? Or was it because it was a fairy bane? I wasn't sure how to take that, really. I hadn't really ever considered things like fairy banes applying to me. Okay, so what's the other one?
Well, you'll have to get out of your room at some point, so you need something to dispel the other one. That one has bluebells, thyme, and some other fairy flowers that should help counteract the first one.
Alright, back to the journal we go. Just as some plants can be considered harmful to fairies, others are considered sacred to them. Primroses, foxgloves, ragwort, wild thyme, bluebells, cowslips, pansies, toadstools. There are tons of flowers, trees, and plants associated with fairies. Ironically, some like rowan, can ward them off or invite them in depending how they're used. Alright.
I thought it might be less messy to make an infused oil or water you could spritz in the doorway. But infusions take more time to create, and William said you needed it quickly. I'd need at least a week to properly infuse some oil for you, but a water infusion wouldn't take as long. An infusion would also let you do it without having to touch the fairy bane. You may want to use gloves when you do that, by the way.
Noted. In any case, we can try this for now. If it works, maybe we can consider something else later.
I was thinking the same thing.
Do I, owe you money?
No! No, it's fine. You don't owe me anything. This is just a favor for friends.
She shot William a smile. Thank you, Shelley. I really appreciate this. So you also hang out with William Boy? That's good. I'm glad to hear that.
It's not a problem at all, but just so you're aware, this isn't a long-term solution. If this keeps up, tell someone more knowledgeable about this sort of thing than I am. I'm good with potions, but fey compulsions are beyond my expertise.
Fey compulsions, huh? I assumed that was what Allie had told her, at least for now. I know. I will. I'm just hoping I can make it through the holiday. Things will calm down for everyone by next week, and we'll be able to take a closer look at it. It's only a week. I kept telling myself that, but I knew a lot could happen in a week's time.
I'm going to go to the library to read for a while. I hope everything works out for you, Nora.
I'm sure it'll be fine. I hope. Thanks for this. I really appreciate it.
I'm glad I could help.
She gathered her things and left me alone with William. I slipped the jars back into the black pouch, noticing that even through the glass, just touching the one with St. John's wort burned a little. I settled back against the sofa with a long sigh as I glanced at the clock. About 20 minutes before the bell. Man, I could really use a power nap. Then why don't you try to sleep here for a while? It's not like I haven't tried to sleep a little. But this time I'll be right here. I won't let anything happen to you. I don't... It's weird sleeping in front of someone else. I won't watch you. I'll just be here. I will listen to you and take a nap. I'm trying to decide what the difference is between the pillow and the back of the sofa. I mean, maybe if she slept on the pillow, she would just be out. And just conked right out. But if it's on the back of the sofa, maybe that's not as comfortable, so she would only nap? I honestly have no idea. Maybe Corbin comes and sits on her face. Is she sleeping on a pillow? I have no idea. I laid my head back against the back of the sofa and slouched down as I pulled a pillow on my lap. I mean, the romantic music's playing, so I assume that's a good sign. Be sure to wake me up before class. I will. And definitely wake me up if I start snoring. He smiled at that. I will. I shut my eyes hesitantly, thinking I still wouldn't be able to sleep. Maybe it was just because William was next to me, but for the first time in days, I felt myself relax completely. Ah, so sleeping in front of somebody else wasn't too bad. I drifted into a gentle dream where everything was warm and soft. There was nothing dark or cold, no voices or eerie singing. There was a pleasant smell, like cinnamon and apples. Everything was sort of indistinct and fuzzy, but it was comfortable, and it was safe. Something made a gentle murmuring sound as I snuggled into it. The warmth wrapped itself around me, and I knew that somehow everything would be okay. Who did I fall asleep against?
Excuse me.
Annoying person talking.
I wasn't aware this had become a bedroom.
Shut up. Velos. Freaking Velos, look. I just needed a power nap. I didn't even lie down on the couch. William's like, dude. A sudden clap jolted me into the world of the waking. Velos was standing in front of us, holding a heavy book out in front of him. I glared up at him, head still somewhat foggy. I glanced at William, who was also just sitting up. His hair was all mussy, and he looked like he must have dozed off as well. No, wait! You were supposed to keep watch, William! Did we sleep, like, through the first couple classes? Oh, no. Oh, no. William, you had one job! Well, okay, I guess so much for the pillow theory. Ugh.
Is it not past time for the two of you to be in class?
I glanced at the clock. Oh, shoot! The realization we were late sent us both scrambling for our things. Class started nearly 15 minutes ago. How had we both slept through the bell? You two goobers. Sorry, I haven't really been sleeping well. Velos did not seem interested in my excuse. Since we hadn't yet told him what happened, he was less than sympathetic.
I'm sorry. I was supposed to wake you up.
No, I'm sure you were tired too. What with all the help you've been giving to even having to give the agency and guests these days. I shot Velos a pointed look that definitely wasn't lost on him, judging by the way he rolled his eyes.
Yes, yes, point taken. Though I'm sure you're aware that William is welcome to say no at any time if he doesn't wish to help her.
Huh. I scoffed openly. Anyone who knew William should know he'd never do that.
Very well. I'll write you tardy slips. This time.
He started back to the library, but paused to give us a last amused look.
William, you may wish to dry your shoulder before class.
Wait! Oh no. Did you... Wait, I thought you were... Were we both on the couch? Were you the snuggle... Was I snuggling against you? Oh no. And there was no picture for that? Aw, man. Ah. I stared in horror at the wet spot on the left shoulder of his jacket. Exactly where my head had been. Did I drool on him? Velos looked distressingly amused. I'm so sorry. I'll buy you a new coat. William and I rushed out of the club to the empty hall. We quickly made our way to the stairs and down the first landing.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to fall asleep too.
Nah, it's fine. You must have been tired. You've been helping out a lot, right?
Well, that is true, but...
He looked away, coloring slightly.
You were just comfortable.
What? Did I hear that right? My face instantly heated up. That's one confession. I hurriedly tucked my hair behind my ears, and trying my best to keep my traitorous thoughts inside my head, I went ahead of him to class. When we entered, everyone else was already in the middle of reading. William and I quietly turned in our tardy slips and went to our seats. I slid into my desk and breathed a long sigh of relief as I pulled out my playbook. I glanced awkwardly at his shoulder. It was definitely still wet. Ugh. I'm still really sorry about that. I can't believe I drooled on him. There was a suspicious snuffling sound from him. Are you laughing at me? I narrowed my eyes as I studied him. Was he laughing? He was definitely laughing. Properly laughing at that, despite that he was trying to hide it. I chuckled softly. Well, if it got him to laugh, then I guess I didn't mind being a little embarrassed by my stupid sleeping habits. Did we sit down, have like a 2-line discussion, and then the bell rang, and the class began to clear out? Alright, well, good class.
I'll see you in art.
Yeah, see you later. I waved as he went into the hall, then started to gather up my own things. Allie was already heading out, but she paused and mouthed something to me before stepping out.
We'll talk at lunch!
I nodded and watched her go before sliding my playbook into my backpack. I shivered suddenly as a gust of frigid air came from nowhere, and that's when I realized that it had been a lot warmer than usual at the back of the class. Oh. Uh-oh. I wonder if William's starting to use the amulet more often, and now the ghosts are like, yo, before you showed up, we could hang out with him all the time. So now we're gonna get rid of you, so that he's like all alone and needs us in his life again. Oh no, I think I'm in trouble. Usually it was freezing the whole time, but today I hadn't noticed the cold at all until just then. Which was weird because William was already gone, and the cold spot usually followed him. I instinctively glanced at the ceiling, even though I knew there was no vent up there. Weird. I quickly bent to retrieve a few things off the floor before shoving everything in my bag and heading for the door. Oh no. A strange sound broke the silence in the room just before I stepped into the hallway. It was William's desk, slightly askew and moved several inches from mine. You made your point clear. I was getting a little used to weird things like that happening, but still. Oh no, you don't! With a frown, I went back and straightened his desk quickly. I hadn't even made it back to the door when I heard the hollow scrape again. I glanced back to our desks. This time it was mine shoved away from his, further than before. Exactly as if someone had given one corner of it a hard shove. Brats. Worried I'd be late for my next class, I left it like that and hurried into the hall. Alright, so that's how it is, huh? Alright. Okay. No problem. This is fine. I stretched and shut my locker door. Long day. That power nap in the morning hadn't lasted as long as I had hoped. I was kind of planning to sneak a nap during lunch. But as it turned out, Allie grabbed me beforehand and told me she was planning to talk to Velos about what happened, the attack and all that. She advised me to steer clear if I didn't want to be there for that conversation. So I had avoided the club during lunch, and again during my free period. She hadn't given me an update on how things went, but I didn't think I was brave enough to face him without her there to manage him. I couldn't avoid it forever, though. But now that school was out, I was thinking of heading up anyway. Allie had said she'd meet me there. I was halfway to the stairs when my phone chimed.
Hey, where are you?
First floor, heading up.
Word of warning, Velos is waiting for you. He's, not happy that you were taking a walk at night.
Well, we expected that.
Prepare for a lecture!
I'm prepared, I think. Mostly I was just so exhausted I was thinking of just sleeping and letting him rant at my drooling face.
Nora,
William? He was hurrying toward me from down the hall. Hey, is something wrong?
do you mind if I walk up with you?
No, I don't mind. He smiled hesitantly, then fell into step beside me as I started up the stairs.
How are you? You looked really tired in art.
Really tired about covers it. That, and hopeful about getting some sleep tonight. Also, apparently Velos is waiting to ambush me so he can lecture me. Allie told him about the, attack and all, during lunch. I guess he's mad that I've supposedly been wandering around at night on purpose.
If you tell him what really happened, I'm sure he'll be less angry.
I know. I do know that.
Nora, why are you so afraid of talking to him? He's a good person.
I just don't want Spencer to get dragged into all of this because of me. Again. Whether they just casually erase his memories or whether he's forced to face all this, I don't like the idea of that being on someone else's terms. I don't want it to happen for him the way it did for me this time.
I think Velos will listen if you explain that to him.
Do you think so? He seems like a very by-the-book sort of person. I stopped before we reached the 4th floor, relieved no one else was around. I know Allie has been wanting to kind of prod Spencer to see where he falls in all this. Is he human? Is he not? Or whatever. But to be honest, I've been apprehensive about it. I don't think he'd handle learning he might not be human. Not with everything he's been through. And I don't think I mean, if he found out I'm not human, I don't know what he'd do. When I think about Velos talking to him, I just feel so scared. What if he learns about all of this and he thinks it just proves he was right all along? What if he really was right all along? What if I'm the one who hurt him because I'm not human? What if everything that happened back then was my fault and the only reason I don't remember it is because I'm trying to lie to myself? What if everyone... William's like, okay, majorly overthinking. Shush, 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 shush. William placed his fingers over my mouth.
Nora, whatever happens, you won't have to deal with it alone. You have Allie. You have the others. You have me.
I just don't know what's the right thing to do. This is all happening so fast. William took my hands and squeezed. Thank you.
You should do what makes you comfortable, but I think you can trust us.
Of course I trust you, my boo. I do trust you, William. You and Allie. So if you think I can trust that Velos won't do anything weird, I guess I can trust him too. William smiled. Are you actually gonna do this, though? I don't know if I'm ready to tell him about Spencer yet, but I'll consider it, okay? I just need time. Like, as soon as everything goes badly, and it all culminates in a big battle, and, you know, I just can't hide the truth anymore because it's been exploded into everyone's face, then I'll tell him, and I'll get the lecture of a lifetime. But in the meantime, I'll just consider it. And maybe some sleep. The fact that I was running on empty probably wasn't helping the anxiety. Ugh. That is fair. I will give you that. That is very fair. We started up to the club room again. We were nearly there when I realized he was still holding my hand. Ah! I gave it a squeeze and smiled at him. So wholesome. He flushed and smiled back, dropping his gaze to the floor, but he still didn't let go of my hand.